So I was watching this interesting video where you would pick a fruit that resembles your personality. And I thought, oh, maybe I'd be sweet like a mango, but my exterior might be, hard like a coconut. And then I thought to myself, okay, if property and casualty insurance was a fruit, what would it be? First, I thought of durian. Now, for those of you who've never had durian, it's so stinky that it's actually illegal to bring it on the metro or a subway in Singapore. But I thought, no, let's pick something a little more common, something more realistic. So I went with a lemon. Now, sometimes life, like the property and casualty industry, throws you some lemons. And what do? Do you taste them and say, oh, it's so sour, I can't deal with it? Or do you do what I know you're going to do, which is what I did, which is you squeeze the you-know-what out of them and you make lemonade? Because what comes from hard times? Well, there's a hard market, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. Hard times mean opportunity. Everything is perspective. And as I wake up each day to positive headlines in the insurance industry, I think to myself, hey, it's more opportunity. And that is what we're going to talk about today in this episode of Planet of the Agents, the ultimate show for insurance agents in the world of property and casualty. Are you ready to join me? It's going to be another exciting, exhilarating, thrilling, incredible episode of the show. So sit down, buckle up, get ready, because here we go. Hello, everybody. It's your host here, Dave Baker, host of Planet of the Agents. Now, wherever you are watching or listening to this show, whether it's on YouTube, which I hope you will join me there, or on a podcast, then the first thing you want to do, of course, is tap that little subscribe button, click that little bell, click the plus sign, give me a heart, give me a star, whatever it takes to make sure you're getting all of the latest episodes of the show. And of course, you can also find the links to the show and, more importantly, join my newsletter at planetoftheagents.com. Now, if you'd like to reach out to me, send me your questions, your comments, your tales of happiness, well, whatever story you'd like to, you can always reach me at dave@planetoftheagents.com. It's simple, it's long, but you know where to find me. So keep writing to me because I love to get your messages, I love to hear your stories, and I love to hear some positivity. So when you write me about your struggles, make sure that you also conclude your message on a positive note. Okay, so speaking of positivity, let's get our day started. Now, how do you start your day in property and casualty insurance? Tell me if this sounds familiar. You open your email and voila, a zillion messages from carriers, spammers, people trying to get you to sign up with them, and all these people you've never heard of. So you spend the first 10 or 15 minutes of your day unsubscribing from messages. Does that sound familiar? If so, well, you are not alone. But don't worry, because I'm sure all those messages are filled with great news, right? No, I'll stop the sarcasm. Sarcasm's not for everybody. But you know what? Sometimes it's great to make light of a certain situation. So let's talk about what is going on in the P&C industry and in the world of agents. Okay, now, in the last month, I have received the most phone calls or emails or people reaching out specifically from the state of California, the West Coast. They are experiencing something incredibly painful. Okay, there are tough times in the auto insurance market, really tough times in the property insurance market. It's getting rough. So we're going to use that as an example. Now, for those of you who are not in California, well, I know many of you have your opinions of California because they all keep moving to your states. I wonder why that is. Is it just because of the insurance market? Why don't we save that for another discussion? But let's look at some of the fun headlines today that I saw in the world of insurance. Now, I can't say that all these headlines are exactly from today, but I just want to read you some of them so I can use this example when talking about how to deal with tough situations. So let's read some headlines together. Are you ready? Another major insurance company limits new homeowners insurance in California. That would be Farmers Insurance. Here's what to do if no one will insure your home. Okay, that's a consumer-directed email. Another gem. Not an email, I'm sorry, a headline. What to do if your homeowner's policy is canceled in California? Will the loss of insurance carriers lead to a coverage crisis in California? After State Farm's and all states exit Farmers Insurance that's limited in California. And California's home insurance problem just got more complicated. Okay, now, I'm not taking credit for any of these headlines. These are a simple Google search for California homeowners insurance, and then you can click news, and you will see nothing but joy. So what did you get from those headlines? Many of the direct writers or the captive agent models, State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers have limited things. For those of you who are working with some of the other carriers, like you might see that carriers you work with have limited things. Some other people have told me that carriers are literally canceling all the personal lines in the state. I'm hearing stories about Foremost blocking things. Oregon Mutual pulled out. You've got issues with Safeco and out of certain agents. Maybe I don't know if it's out of state or what the specifics are. I haven't heard things about every single carrier, but there are limitations coming in from many of the different carriers. Okay, so what are you going to do about this? So first, if you remember a previous episode, I said to you, something that I want to do in my own life is rather than learning from my own mistakes, I could learn from the mistakes of others. So let me share, once again, something I shared before, something that I consider a mistake that I may have made in my life, in business, in insurance. I spent many years fighting what's going on, trying to beat the system, so to speak, meaning that I didn't roll with the punches. If something changed, I tried to get exceptions or I've tried to modernize things. Well, you know what? Maybe you can do that. Some of you might have that power. Some of you might work for a mega agency. You have that pull. You have that power. You might get exceptions. You might have a special program. There are things that you can do. And that is amazing. But for most of us who, the little guy, the backbone of the industry, the ones who are very important, well, we don't have that luxury. So we have to make some decisions, okay? So what are you going to do? Well, today, for example, my friend was telling me how he might get laid off from his position at an insurance carrier, and he's concerned about that. And I think he's worried about it. I could hear the worry in his voice. And then he literally said, I'm worried about this. And I said, I'm sorry, what did you say? You have new opportunity coming? Opportunity. So here's something to remember. Millions and billions are made during market crashes, during hard times, during bad economies. Now, I realize we might not be billionaires. It's okay. But here's the deal. There is so much opportunity out there, okay? As I mentioned in my previous episode, every day be thankful for the incredible opportunity you have by being a P&C or property and casualty insurance agent, agency owner, an agent, a salesperson, a representative of some type, where you get to participate in the system and earn commissions and have flexibility. Okay, so for example, in this California example, something I'm hearing about constantly is that you've got admitted carriers that are pulling out, and now people are having to deal with surplus lines. And obviously, I understand that you might not have a love for paperwork, and much of the surplus lines market is done with paperwork, not with online quoting. But that's okay. Think about this. There are people who are seeing their premiums go from $3,000 a year to $15,000 a year. So if you work on a 10% commission, instead of making $300, you will make $1,500. Now, are you going to bind every single policy? Is every single policy going to have that type of change? No, of course not. But this is a great example because this is something that I actually saw with somebody. And another agent from Farmers had mentioned to me today that he's seeing a lot of surplus lines. So you have some choices now, okay? Let's talk about these. First of all, if you, and this doesn't just mean people in California, okay? I'm talking about wherever you are. If you're dealing with this situation where you have things that are going from admitted that you cannot place anymore to surplus lines and the premiums are skyrocketing, there are things you can do. First of all, you can make the decision. Do I want to keep writing this insurance? Now, I know those of you who are focused on personal lines, of course, meaning homeowners insurance, auto insurance, motorcycles, personal umbrellas, watercraft, things of that nature, personal inland marine floaters, things of that nature. That's what you're used to doing. And you're used to doing that probably with multiple carriers. Those of you who work in the commercial market, it's much different. You might be used to writing a bunch of different lines, dealing with different carriers, and dealing with different types of risks that a personal lines agent is not used to. Those of you who are already in the commercial market, I actually think you have a little bit of an advantage for the future. But here's the deal. Let's talk about this. Okay, so what can you do? First of all, you can make the decision. Do I want to keep focusing on homeowners insurance? Well, if you have a book of customers already, you probably don't want to just lose them. So you will have to prepare a script or something to explain to them what's going on, and maybe you could ask your carriers for help with this so that you can send some emails or letters or whatever you do to communicate. Maybe you pick up the phone. Everybody's doing something different. But what you can do is you can get started by preparing people for what's going to happen and then preliminarily making a preemptive move by getting a quote for them before they get the non-renewal notice or the cancellation notice or whatever's coming. Okay? Maybe it would be better if you didn't just wait for them to get a notice in the mail and then contact you, because they might not be too pleased about that. So you have to make the decision. Do you still want to focus on this insurance? It's going to get harder. I actually had an agent tell me that he literally told somebody who walked into his office, because he still has walk-in business, we just can't help you. We're out of auto insurance. We don't have any markets. It's going to be at least 10 days before you can buy. The customer's mind was blown. He said, well, I'll just go somewhere else. And he said, good luck. Now, for this guy to get to that point in his career is a big deal, because he's been in the business for a long time and he can't believe that he has to turn people away. I understand. We all want to help people. We're in this business to help people. And it's just not that easy right now in some cases. So let's say you want to continue and you want to keep writing the homeowner's insurance. Okay. If it's surplus lines, you're going to have to fill out paperwork, etc. And there's going to be a process involved. And it's going to take time. So you want to make a preemptive move, in my opinion. I wouldn't wait for somebody to get a letter in the mail. I would try to get the quotes in advance, because it will be harder. Now, you could have people fill out paperwork, like fill out some sort of application for you, but you probably already have their information. So you'll have to decide if you want to make that move. Consider requesting a list of those accounts which will be non-renewed by your carriers. Don't just wait for a letter in the mail. Request a list so you have it in advance, and you can set a schedule, perhaps 90 days in advance or something of that nature. So you'll be able to do that. You might want to send initial contact letters to people, letting them know what is going to be occurring so that they know you are still there for them and they should stick with you. You are their agent, the one that they have come to. So there are going to be some other issues too. You might not have home and auto discounts anymore. You might not have the same multi-line discounts, but that doesn't mean that you can't still have umbrellas, motorcycles, watercraft, inland marine floaters, personal articles, things of that nature, umbrellas. I heard there's new cyber liability policies for individuals. There are a lot of opportunities out there, okay? So don't give up hope. All right. Is it going to be easy? No. The industry is giving you some lemons, and it is time to squeeze those lemons. But what about the other opportunity? What am I talking about? Well, the other opportunity is for you to expand into something new, such as commercial lines. This could be your shot. This could be the motivation, the push that you need. Because I personally believe that in the future, independent agents are going to largely be doing commercial lines. It seems logical based on a lot of things we are seeing. That doesn't mean you won't do any personal lines. But just like a travel agent, okay? There are some travel agents who used to sell plane tickets. Now they sell cruises. That doesn't mean they don't sell other vacations. And yes, people use travel agents. Don't be confused. You are an insurance agent. People use telecom agents. They use car brokers, okay? There are a lot of brokers, a lot of middlemen in the world. And you know what? It's not too shabby. Okay, so what's the other opportunity? Well, it's to get into commercial lines. Now, that doesn't mean you have to jump into the most complex thing. You don't have to try to write complex D&O insurance, some complex EPLI, or something with a crazy name like Bumbershoot Insurance or Hull P&I, or you don't have to jump into all these complex things. You could start small with like business owners policies. That's probably one of the easier ones to quote, right? You could start with monoline general liability, or GL, if you want to use the lingo. How would I get started? Personally, what I would do if I was getting started, I would obviously take some classes from your carriers. I would make sure I have a deep understanding of the policies. That's a whole different discussion, but let's talk about marketing and getting some customers. Definitely, of course, make sure you have an understanding of the product you sell. It just seems logical to me. But speak with the underwriter. See if people can help you. Do that stuff. But how will you get the customers? Well, first of all, if you have a book of home and auto insurance customers, guess what? That's right. Some of them own businesses. So what can you do? You can contact them. Ask what type of business they have. Ask if they own a business. Let's start with baby steps here. Baby steps. Hi, do you own a business? We can help you with their business insurance. What type of business? And when they respond, you can send them the general questions you need to obtain a quote for them. Yes, it's that easy. You will be surprised how many people own some sort of business or have a side hustle, a second business that they do on the side. So that in itself will open a lot of opportunity for you. And you don't need 10,000 new clients, okay? Let's say you have 100 or 200 clients right now and 20% of them own their own business. That's 40 potential new policies. And then that could turn into cross sales. I do find that people who purchase commercial insurance, this is just an opinion, I don't have any statistics on this, but just from listening to people talk, it seems like it's easier to cross-sell them something. Maybe they have general liability, now they need property coverage. Maybe they have business personal property, they acquire a building. Maybe they have a rental property. Don't forget to ask about rental properties, okay? Lesser's risk opportunities, and a lesser's risk account would be a commercial landlord style account. They're huge. There's so many opportunities. And then when you get the rent roll and you see all the customers in the building that they own, you can approach them, right? Because you'll need certificates of insurance to prove that the tenants have insurance. Do you see how the opportunity just continues? It reminds me of when I hear someone say, well, he knows two people, who knows two people, who knows two people, who knows two people, who knows four people. Have you ever seen those little pyramids? Well, guess what? People know people. Sure. Some of you don't know anybody. Sure. I always get these emails or comments where people say, well, I don't really know anybody. I'm thinking, don't you have customers? Yes, you have customers, clients, people that have come to you. So go back to them. Let them be your first resource. And from there, you can expand. Hopefully, you'll start to get referrals. You will develop a way to ask your customers for referrals as well, especially in the business world. If it were me, again, I would try to create a niche that I pursue, and that would help me develop a referral system because people in the same niche will refer people to me. So what's the gist of this whole talk right now? Well, things are not getting easier. Some quotes are moving offline. In spite of the fact that we have insurtech companies, I see some things moving offline. That's okay. Because if you have no other motivation in your life, look into my eyes right now. You can do this. Okay? Now, some of you are rolling in it and you're about to retire. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you, for what you've built, what you've achieved, what you've done in this business. But for you young bucks out there, I'm not too old myself. I have been in this business for 19 years. So we don't need to talk about how old I am. But I feel 10 or 15 years younger, okay? I feel great. I feel like we are in a world of opportunity. So here's your motivation right now. From me, if this is what you need, you can do this. You will get through this. There is dark at the end of the tunnel. And on top of that, this might be the push that you needed to get into a new type of insurance. This might be what you need to re-energize you. And as new customers start to roll in, it's going to help you. It's going to inspire you. It's going to make you feel amazing. So sure, you might lose some customers in one line of business, but you might open a whole new world to all kinds of new opportunities. So remember, again, when markets crash in bad economies, that's when millionaires are made. Okay, it's not just in the boom times. There's opportunity. Every challenge is also an opportunity. This applies to a lot of things, not just in business, but in our personal lives as well. Okay, I speak from personal experience here. So, I hope that I've motivated you. I hope I've got you pumped for today. Now get to the office. Go delete all those emails. Unsubscribe from a zillion emails. But subscribe to Planet of the Agents, okay? Go to planetoftheagents.com. Get on my newsletter. Whether you're on YouTube, a podcast, Spotify, wherever you are listening, Make sure that you are subscribed, you're getting your downloads, you're getting your notifications, and please leave me a comment. I love your comments. Send me an email. I love to be part of this industry. We're all so lucky. We are one big family, okay? So let's help each other and let's keep growing this thing. So get out there, keep selling, keep growing, keep retaining customers, and do the best you can every single day. All right, everyone. This is Dave from Planet of the Agents. I cannot wait to see you or talk to you in the next episode. Take care.